Well, here we are. A day after Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson. And listen, I only really got one thing to say, and I'm not even happy about it. I'm not happy about it. I knew I wouldn't be. And really, you guys reflected this same idea, but I told you so. A round 2 knockout victory for Jake Paul. And I think we all kind of agreed here, right? We all kind of agreed on what was going to happen here. I think it was pretty obvious to see going into this fight what was going to happen. The mainstream media, people that didn't understand kind of what the workings were of this fight, especially as it related to Jake Paul and his experience, were surprised. I saw people on Twitter shocked that Nate lost. So I wanted to let this fight breathe a little bit. I didn't want to record something the night of the fight when everything's all chaotic and Twitter's going crazy and the YouTube and content community's going crazy. The NBA players are going crazy. Everybody was. What we saw on fight night was a guy in Jake that had been training, was experienced, was relaxed, and got the job done. It wasn't pretty. It didn't have to be. All Jake had to do was something simple: shock the people that aren't in the YouTube sphere. And yes, YouTube is a big platform. It's a massive social media platform, but there are people that don't necessarily make YouTube videos or even watch them, even though that's becoming a very small percentage of people. Or the people that just see Jake as the guy that was lighting his pool on fire, or they think he's Logan Paul because they don't understand that they're two different people. He had to go out and show those people that he was an experienced, trained boxer, and that athleticism doesn't mean that you're a good boxer. And by now, yes, you guys know the outcome of the fight, how devastating it was. It's been memed into oblivion now. People are doing the Nate Robinson challenge. I feel sorry for the guy. I really do. He was just in over his head here. But we don't know how he got there. We back up this train. We back up all the memes and everything on social media and the big victory celebration for Jake. And again, the devastation that ended the fight. How did we get here? What happened in the fight? Could Nate have done anything differently? And did Jake look as good as we thought he would? I'm going to break it down. Let's get into it. Watch the way Nate comes forward here. I think this was an actual game plan from the Nate Robinson corner, was to pressure Jake, to make Jake fight off the back foot. Obviously, they didn't watch the Anissan Gibb fight where Jake was just peppering Gibb with jabs and then the check left hook behind it. Jake fights well going backward. He does. It looked like Nate was winging it. It looked like a guy that was very nervous, that his entire athletic prowess, all the stuff that had been hyped about him being a super athlete, went out the window right away. Watch what I'm talking about here. I want you guys to watch Nate fly across the ring right here with no technique, almost in a dead sprint toward Jake. Nate just runs into stuff, and Jake didn't make the read just yet. Obviously, the clinch and trying to slow Nate down a little bit, get him to a range where Jake could utilize and attack offensively was the game plan. But watch Nate just fly in, reckless abandon, no technique, no ability to throw punches at all, and no balance, nothing. Just running in. And Jake right there even has the semblance of an overhand. Ducks under the jab. The overhand, Jake wants to throw the overhand right here. Doesn't quite land. It ends up taking almost like an overhook that you'd see in MMA right here. But he wants to already. I mean, Jake, this is not the most technical overhand. He's looking at the floor. That's the old look at the ground and throw the absolute fastball over the top. That is a prayer and a hope shot. But Jake, I mean, he's landed that overhand time and time again. And he ends up landing this shot to end the fight. This is a key moment because, again, look at Nate's hands. He's running forward with almost like a push jab. Jake is underneath of that jab, looking for that overhand. It's going to come over the top. Nate has no idea. Look at no balance. Feet are together. Everything over his toes. Weight completely over his toes. He's running into shots. If Jake connects with anything, it makes the punch harder because Nate is running forward at such a high speed. Again, no balance. No semblance of any kind of defense or feinting. Just running forward. And Jake, all he has to do is throw that overhand and touch him on the chin. And he'll put him down, and eventually he does. Now, Jake, again, looking at the floor, this is the throw and pray, but if he lands it, Nate goes to sleep. And again, we'll see later on that I forgot Jake landed that overhand, and I could see it coming. As Nate runs in, Jake hits him, tags him with the check left hook, steps back, and again, Nate just kind of hands forward, right? Hands are forward out there. The first thing the mind goes to is overhand right. Dip under, throw the overhand right, slip the jab, overhand right behind it. It's such a simple attack. It's such a simple counter to what Nate's doing, and he just doesn't realize it. His chin is up in the air. Those hands are straight out. There's no semblance of a jab. There's no semblance of the head movement. He's walking forward on a tightrope and just saying, Jake, hey, whenever you want, my head's here. Just knock it clean the fuck off. Round one, it's pretty easy to see what we're looking at here. Nate, a guy that really should not have been in here. I saw Teddy Atlas on Twitter talking about how he couldn't believe the California State Athletic Commission sanctioned this, and I agree with him. Especially, when I actually watched the fight, I didn't think it was fair to begin with. And then you actually see a guy get in there like Nate who has no idea what he is doing. And then you watch him leave his feet to throw a jab. And then you watch him land on his one foot on top of the other one as he's trying to work his way in. Or you watch him sprinting forward, just running, turning, squaring up, and running towards his opponent. And you think to yourself, are we doing this because it made sense? Or are we doing this because Jake Paul wanted to make some money with his buddies at Triller, and Nate Robinson was the guy that was the sucker that took the bait? And Jake figured it out very quickly. Nate's going to run forward, throw the jab out, chin high, sprinting forward, and nothing else. And he's going to try to clinch. I'm going to slip and throw the right overhand. And listen, not to pile on Nate. I know the guy's got it rough right now with all the memes and obviously him losing the way he lost. But this guy had his team in shirts of what I assume is Jake Paul laying on his face in video game form with Nate Robinson, the victor, with 2 belts on. This man manifested his own demise. Okay, 2 things here. Nate having no understanding of what's happening to him. No understanding that he's getting baited. He is getting trapped into an overhand right every time he comes in. He thinks that he is giving himself longevity in this fight. He thinks that he's elongating the fight, that he is implementing a strategy that's going to keep him around for all 6 rounds, when in fact he's playing right into Jake's hands. He doesn't understand that the trap has been set and that he's walking onto shots, that he's walking right into his demise. He thinks, oh, the more I clinch, the more I'm aggressive on him, he can't get shots off, and I'm gonna last longer in this fight. Well, if the first round should have told him anything, it's that might have worked for the first minute and a half, but Jake's made the adjustment. He's made the read. And in fact, the thing that you think is keeping you in business here is actually going to be the demise here in the next 5 to 10 seconds. You walking into Jake's range while unprovoked and with no entry fee, with no setup, no feint, no jab, no anything to give Jake any kind of semblance of respect for your power, speed, ability, nothing, it's going to get you hurt. And I don't understand how Nate's corner didn't say anything about that in the first round, or between the rounds. How did they not say anything about like, hey, let's maybe start to work the jab? Hey, let's maybe cut some angles, maybe move our head a little bit, try to stay out of just running in and clinching and hoping for a clinch, and with our chin high and our hands low, maybe not do some of those things. They didn't say anything like that to him. The second thing I wanted to talk about here was, one, yes, I can't believe Nate got up again. The heart this guy had, because he got hit with 2 clean shots, and shots that I don't think he's been hit with ever in his life. He had some heart, obviously. Jake, again, landing that flush overhand right, the step back overhand. He had, like I said, set the trap. He knew where Nate was going to be. It is a very calm and relaxed Jake in there. He doesn't look as good as probably he wanted to, or he thinks he could have, or maybe even that he should have looked. And I do think there's some holes in Jake's game for sure. He throws very wild. Like I said, looking straight into the ground and throwing the overhand. He's connected with it, to be fair to him. And you don't fix something that ain't broke, right? Especially for this fight. But there are definitely some holes in Jake Paul's game. Definitely some stuff you can see here that you can be like, you know what? A guy with some experience, a guy with some skill, a guy that understands how to read and adjust would definitely find some openings in Jake Paul's game for sure. Like, look at this. Look at Nate just run forward. Chin straight in the air, straight up, hands down. Jake clips him. Beautiful right hand. I have to say, beautiful right hand right here. And god dang, the way Nate hits the floor, man. Listen, I don't get any enjoyment out of watching that back. Nate got brutalized. We all knew it was going to happen. This is what I'm going to say about this, and this is kind of going to be my final thoughts on it. For a lot of people outside of again, the YouTube sphere, or that understood how much experience Jake had, they didn't understand that Nate got set up here, man. He flat out did. Again, I don't know who was advising Nate to take this fight, or if he just didn't understand that Jake had this level of experience and ability. He should never call Jake out. That's number one. He should have never called that out. The California State Athletic Commission should have never sanctioned this boxing match, because this was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you got a guy in there in Jake that understands the sport of boxing, been in there, been a quote-unquote pro now, against a guy that's never fought. And by the looks of this, listen, I'm not going to say what was going on in his camp. It didn't even look like Nate sparred. It didn't look like he sparred anyone. I mean, what is this? Like running forward like this, chin up. What is that? again, kudos to Nate, man. It takes balls to get in there, and he did. And it's easy for me or you guys or anybody else to point that finger and go, ha, 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 look at you, got knocked out. It is not easy to do what he did. I'm sure he put a lot of work into this, and for him to go out like that, it's obviously an ego bruise. It's obviously hard to be mocked like he has been over the last day or so. And yeah, the memes are funny and everything. And you know, listen, you call a guy out like that and go out like that, you're going to get some people jawing at you. But like I said, it's not easy at all to get into a ring and respect where it's due for Nate and for Jake. For Jake, for taking this seriously, for being committed. Someone had sent me something where he broke his nose a couple of weeks before this fight, so he wasn't able to spar. Jake could have sat on the couch for 6 months, and he would have knocked this dude clean the fuck out. Like, it was not going to be a competitive contest at any point, which is why I've criticized Jake, and you guys know this, for not taking adequate opponents. But listen, once he's in the ring and he is showing his skills, he's showcasing his abilities, the guy is good. He's getting better. Like I said, as an amateur boxer, as someone that has been in this sport for a couple of years, he looks really good. He does. He looks very, very good. And like I said, I don't like the guy. You guys know this. I'm not a big Jake Paul fan at all. But he was humble in victory. I will give him credit for that. He was very respectful to Nate Robinson after the fight. Jake says it wasn't about the money, but he's fighting guys that have no experience for what he called a big bag. If it's not about the money, if it's not about all the stuff that comes with the money, the clout, the exposure, if it's not those things, and you truly want to test your skills as a boxer on someone on equal footing, then do that. I don't know who that is, but like I said, someone is out there.